Imposter syndrome. It's something we talk about all the time, and maybe you've uttered the words, oh, I'd love to be able to do that, but my imposter syndrome holds me back. I want to talk about why imposter syndrome is not really the big bad meanie that we make it out to be, and it's not something that we necessarily need to try and cure. In fact, I think it might be a bit of a waste of time. If you remember, we are wired for survival, not happiness, which means that we're always going to default to kind of thinking negatively and looking for threats. And that means we will think negatively about ourselves. But it also means that when we are looking for threats, we're looking for people that, could be competition to us. So it's not surprising that we look at other people and go, oh, they're really good, maybe I shouldn't be here type thing. So for that reason, I don't think trying to cure it is necessarily the most helpful thing, because I think we're fighting nature a little bit. But also, I think we need to understand that imposter syndrome is actually just a really crucial stage in the learning journey. So when I was going through flying training, we kind of discovered this thing called the stages of learning. And when you start off at this glorious phase, which is unconscious incompetence. And what that means is, for example, I watched Top Gun when I was 12 and I went, yes, that is what I want to do. I had no idea if I was any good at flying, but it didn't matter because I was unencumbered by any kind of knowledge. And so actually, unconscious incompetence isn't necessarily a bad phase. It's a great phase to set those big, hairy, audacious goals and dream really big. But of course, the next thing that's going to happen is we're going to move on to conscious incompetence. In other words, we're going to realize that actually, damn it, I'm not immediately brilliant at this. And hang on a minute, other people might be better at this than me. Now, this could be the point where we throw our hands in the air and go, well, it's my imposter syndrome. It's never going to work for me. But actually, we've got two things we can do here. First of all, we can identify the gaps in our knowledge and work out what we need to do to feel more knowledgeable and more competent. And bear in mind, there are people who are further up the learning journey than us, so we can get advice and coaching and mentoring from these people. So this is a great time to work out how you want to close those gaps. But I think the other thing comes from identifying our strengths, because often we go, oh my goodness, I've got to be exactly like everyone else. Actually, sometimes being different can be our superpower. So it's worth working out what our individual strengths are and building on them to increase our confidence. And it might be the fact that we're different and we don't feel like we belong is exactly why we should be there, because we're bringing another strength to the party. So what I mean is, it would be easy to look at other people and say, right, well, they're really confident and assertive, so I need to be like that. But actually, maybe your skill or your strength is to be more contemplative and more approachable. So you can identify those strengths, which means that you're actually building a better sort of team. And that's going to help increase your confidence, which is going to help you to have a different relationship with your imposter syndrome. But suffice to say, this is the point where you can use imposter syndrome either to identify gaps that you would like to fill, or to actually work out what your strengths are and work out why you should be exactly where you are. Which means you can then move on to conscious competence. That's when you've kind of worked through some of these barriers and you're feeling like you're pretty competent in your role. This is the perfect time to become a mentor, because you're not so far ahead that you've forgotten what it's like. And there are people coming up below you that are looking at you and they've got imposter syndrome thinking, I'll never be like you. So you can now mentor them through that and go, hey, I remember what this was like. And these are some of the things that I did. And then importantly, keep going, because the way we get to unconscious competence is by making it habitual, by making it automatic. And the way you make something automatic is by doing it over and over and over again. In the military, we called that train hard, fight easy. And then you're going to get to that glorious stage of unconscious competence. Now, this is the stage when people are definitely going to look at you and go, I don't know how they do it. And this is when it's important to reflect back on your journey and share your journey. This is the time we can inspire people. This is the time when we can show people what is possible. So I hope that that helps you to navigate the stages of learning and have a little bit of fun with it and really play to the individual strengths that every part of the journey is going to give us. Let me know how you think. Take care.